we're finished with page 1, let's move down to page 2. So first page was Dr. King had a dream. He had a dream. And his dream was, what is this? Equal. We are all equal. So let's go ahead. I'm going to use a marker so it stands out. And I'm going to trace over the words. And you can trace over them in any color you want. We are all equal. Now, this was important to Dr. King and everyone because so many people were not being treated equally. And we even have that still happening today, even though he made a lot of headway and we've had laws because of Dr. King, it still goes on. So when you see an injustice, you have to say something. You first have to realize it exists, and then you have to stand up and say, no, I'm not going to put up with that. That is not fair. It's going to take a lot of people to stand up and say something is not fair. Okay, so we're going to, I'm going to leave my cloud white and I'm just coloring the sky. I don't want to color it too dark or I won't see the had a dream part. Now tomorrow we're going to be reading a biography of Dr. King. We'll get more information. We'll get to write about Dr. King. We'll actually get to see a video of Dr. King giving a speech tomorrow. So you'll get to see him in person. Okay, so we did page 1 and page 2. Dr. King had a dream. Okay, and his dream was that we are all equal. Okay, a dream for people everywhere. So what I like to do on this page is use different colors of skin for each person and use different color types of clothing. Some can be girls, some can be boys. Different genders could be shown. So let's see. Well, let's give them all happy faces to start with, right? There we are, they're happy. Let's give someone whatever you want. Let's give someone really long hair, so that one will be a girl. Of course, boys can have long hair. I'm not saying that boys could not have long hair, right? But this one's going to be a girl. It's up to you on what you want to do. I might do a pattern, so if that one's a girl, then I might make this one a boy, right? And maybe that will be a girl. Using different colored hair. And let's see, and then maybe even this one could have orange hair. Okay, that's up to you. Main thing was I wanted to have them have different hairstyles and different, I wanted them to have different hair color as well. Okay, now we'll get their eyes in. So why don't you go ahead and work on this, and I'll be back in a moment. We want to have them wear different colors. We want to have their skin different colors as well. How will I do the color skin? So unless you have an apricot skin, what I will do is different shades of the brown crayon. So for the first girl, let's give her like really dark skin, really dark brown, beautiful skin, really dark. And then I might do the next one really light. And that way we're doing an assortment of skin color. Okay, I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so Dr. King had a dream for people everywhere. So you want to color your children wearing different clothes, looking different. Some are boys, some are girls. Some have beautiful dark skin, some have lighter skin. So kind of mix them up a bit. So do a nice job on that. And then we're moving on to the peace dove. He dreamed of peace. So this is a symbol for Dr. King, the peace dove. He's so noted for finding solutions that are peaceful. He never wanted to fight. He wanted to change things, but he used the power of his words. He believed in peaceful resolution. So I'm not going to color this peace dove. I'm going to leave the peace dove white and then color the sky, the background. And then in the peace dove's beak, maybe we'll color the beak though, right? Maybe an orange. In the beak of the peace dove, you have an olive branch. So let's go ahead and color that in green. That is the symbol of getting along the olive branch, finding peaceful ways to solve problems. Okay, so Dr. King had a dream for people everywhere. He dreamed of peace. And then we're going to move in to page 5 here. He dreamed of friendship and freedom for all to share. So let's do a nice job on the hands. Let's color one of the hands a very dark chocolate brown, beautiful brown, and then color the other one lighter, okay? So work on that and then color the background as well, and I'll be back in a moment to work on the flag with you. Hi friends, so I'm trying really hard to get the lines in correctly on this flag. You might want to get something with a straight edge. We need to have 7 straight horizontal lines, and it's hard to fit them in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There we are. Now, and then we're going to need 1 all the way across, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then the 6 is on the bottom. Okay, let's see. Ooh, that was hard. As you know, with the American flag, it has red and white horizontal stripes, and then it has a blue rectangle with white stars. It's going to be hard to do 50 white stars. In a few weeks, we are going to make a larger flag, so I'm not really worried about getting all 50 stars in this, but I'd like to get the stripes correctly. So let's go ahead and get out our crayon, and we'll start with the first line will be red. Okay, that's one. And then we're going to skip a line and then color that line red. So the United States flag starts with red on the top and ends with red, and then we'll have 13 stripes all together. And so after we finish our stripes, and you can take your time on this, I'm going to skip that one and then I'm going right to this one. When I'm finished with it, I'm going to just color in this whole rectangle a nice blue. If you would like to, because I know it's hard to do, there's no way we can do 50 stars on this, right? I don't think so. We would have to be, we couldn't do 50 white ones, I don't think. You could try to do stars, but it's all right if you can't. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think you could do some stars. So work on that. And I will be back in a minute to show you how to put the book together. Friends, now we're going to color Dr. King for our cover, and we want to do our very best. So you're going to color his hair black, and his mustache is black, his eyebrows will be black. You can decide on his suit, but I'm also thinking his suit color would be black. And then his skin will be what color? Brown, right? Okay, so go ahead and color him. And then when we come back, we will cut him out. Notice how I'm just going to kind of bring his shoulders out a little, okay? And I'll probably cut it off about there. Okay, so when we come back, we're going to cut Dr. King out and we're going to glue him to the cover of our book, and then we're going to put a title on our book. Okay, friends, we're going to go ahead and cut out our Dr. Kings and glue them to a sheet of paper. And we want to have enough room to write the name of our book on it. Now, I want to entitle the book using his name, but let's look at different ways that his name can be written out. You probably have wondered this, and I'll explain it to you. Sometimes people will call him MLK. That stands for Martin Luther King. So often you'll see him referred to as MLK. Okay? And then sometimes you will see him referred to as simply Dr. King. Like that. Dr. King. Okay? And then other times you might see his full name written out. So if I was writing his full name, I would start with Dr. And then I would do his first name, Martin, space, Luther, King, and then you'll do a comma. Ooh, did I run out of room? Junior, J-R for junior, period. Because his father was also Martin Luther King. So do you know any juniors in your family? Do you have two people with the same name and one of them is a junior? Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And then, so sometimes you might even see him referred to as Reverend. So an abbreviation for Reverend would be R-E-V, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther. I'm running out of room here. Long name, right? Luther King Jr. That's a long name. You can see why sometimes we have his name abbreviated, right? So I think for our book, we could do Dr. King. Okay, Dr. King. So let's go ahead and do that with a capital D. Let me get my pen out here. Doctor. He had a doctorate in theology. He wasn't a medical doctor, right? Doctor, capital K, I-N-G. That's the ing. Dr. King. And then write the words by, B-Y, by. And then write your name there. By Delilah or by Ms. Carr. Okay? Great. And now we're going to set up the book. I'll be back in a minute. This is a 6-page accordion folded book. And the number one mistake that I get in the classroom on this is people do not cut it out correctly. So pay attention. In fact, I'm going to put a line around it, how I want it cut out. See this red line? Don't cut out any of the words or the numbers, okay? So we want to cut it the whole thing out on the where I'm doing the red line. So do that on each page and it will be a lot easier to glue it, okay? So make sure the number one mistake that happens is people cut around this box. But we're not going to just cut Dr. King out. We need his name and we need the number 1. So cut out the whole rectangle. And we'll do that on every page, the entire rectangle. Then we'll put it in order together. Okay, so let's do that. And as soon as we have it cut, then I think we're getting to the last video now. I know it seems like it's a never-ending video here, but we want to do our best job, friends. So we have the cover, and we're going to put this together step by step. So we need page 1, and you're going to get your glue stick out, and you're going to run a line along the right-hand side of the page, or the left-hand side of the page. Silly me. Left, right, okay? And then you're going to put it down like this. We want to keep it nice and level. And then rub it down. Okay. And you might want to have an extra space, like a long table or the floor to do this on. And then we need page 2. And then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put some glue on the end, on the left-hand side of the paper. And then we're going to tuck it underneath. And we want to keep it straight because we're eventually going to fold this and we want it to stay in a straight line. Okay. Dr. King had a dream. And then we need 3 for people everywhere. So we'll put some glue right there along the left-hand side, and it actually says glue to page 2, I think. We'll put it right there. We want to keep it nice and even. There we are. And he had a dream for people everywhere. We need he dreamed of peace. So we're going to go ahead and put some glue along the edge. Tuck it in. And then he dreamed of friendship. So we'll put our glue along the edge and tuck it in. Ooh. Want to try not to see that line if possible. I might trim that a bit on the top. And then a little bit of glue there. And freedom for all to share. Very good. So that's page 6. Then you can practice reading it. And then how are we going to be tucking it in? You might want to get some help from a partner at home. But I'm going to accordion fold it. So I have it backwards and I'm just going to fold it. I don't want to fold a page in the middle. So I'm going to fold that one, then that one. And then I want to be careful with my pea stuff, fold it, just going back and forth so we have an accordion fold on it. And then that way when you want to share it with someone, someone comes over to your house and you want to show them your King book, you could say, would you like to read my Dr. King book with me? And then you can pull it out. Okay, great. Have fun. This might even make a nice little wall display about Dr. King. Okay? Hi friends, we are going to read this book by Shane W. Evans. It is called We March. It is about Dr. King's march on Washington. So this is a march, a long walk, where people come together for a particular reason, and this was for the Civil Rights Act. Okay, so Dr. King's March on Washington, and we're going to learn more about it and see some real live footage of it. We're going to watch a video with Kid President after this, and we're going to see some real pictures of Dr. King. Let's go ahead and take a look inside this book. The title page, Shane W. Evans, We March. Oh, it's really dark, right? The morning is quiet, so they're leaving really early. The sun rises. Boys and girls are getting up. And we prepare, tying our shoes, getting dressed to march. They're meeting out in front of the church. We pray for strength. We work together. So they're working together, they're making signs for the march. This sign says, we want freedom. They're just about ready to write in the M. We want freedom. They're painting it. We come from all over to march. This is the Washington Monument in front of the Lincoln Memorial where Dr. King spoke. Freedom this way, it says. We follow our leaders. Let's see oh, do you recognize one of the leaders here? Who is that? Dr. King is the leader. We demand equal rights. Freedom is our right now. Equal work, equal pay. Justice for all. Liberty and justice for all. We are marching for freedom now. We walk together. All different types of people are walking together. Young and old, some are small, some are in wheelchairs, some are in suits, some are farmers. We sing. We are hot and tired, but we are filled with hope. This is the reflecting pool that is between the Washington Monument and the Lincoln Memorial. There's a large crowd. Look at this sea of people, lots of people. We lean on each other. As we march to justice. Freedom Road is long. There's Dr. King. The little boy is on his father's shoulders. We march to freedom. Let's go ahead and take a look at what Kid President has to say in just a moment. He says, Dr. King says, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we are free at last. We march for our dreams. So in a moment, we'll take a look at what Kid President has to say. Let's see what it says at the back of this book. On August 28, 1963, more than 250,000 people gathered in our nation's capital to participate in the March on Washington for Jobs and Freedom. The march began at the Washington Monument and ended with a rally at the Lincoln Memorial, where iconic musicians such as Mahalia Jackson, Bob Dylan, and Joan Baez performed, and Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his historic I Have a Dream speech. Throughout history, there have been many organized marches when people walked together to advance a common goal. The Selma to Montgomery March, which consisted of 3 separate marches that took place in March of 1965, was held to focus attention on the civil rights movement and the need for outlawing racial discrimination. The routes are now memorialized as the Selma to Montgomery Voting Rights Trail. Following these marches, the country enacted 2 pieces of legislation that were crucial for moving the country toward racial equality. The first was the Civil Rights Act of 1964, which banned racial segregation in public schools, public places, and in select workplaces. The second was the National Voting Rights Act of 1965, which outlawed discriminatory voting practices that denied many African Americans the right to vote. It takes people of all ages and cultural backgrounds to move a nation into a new era of freedom. In a sense, these marches pushed old ideas out of the way and moved new ideas forward. History shows that where there is change, there will often be resistance to change. However, these events demonstrate that through action and determination, people have the power to overcome that resistance. I have always been inspired by the idea of people coming together, joining hands in prayer, lifting their voices in song, and marching toward freedom. Sean W. Evans.